There. I see some chat. Can you see us? Can you hear us? Yay.
Hello, hello, hello.
We are trying a new streaming option. And we see some of the, oh, yay. Okay, there's some waving.
Oh, great.
Yay. Some
Okay.
highs. Good, good, good. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab my
Yeah,
laptop.
your computer. Yeah, so you can see the chat a little easier.
I'll let you explain.
We're happy you guys are on. We are trying a new app today, a new streaming app called Streamlabs, which we think will help us when we leave the apartment, because we are going to leave the apartment today. We weren't going to, but then we discovered that because we had such a terrible signal the last time, but then we discovered this Streamlabs thing. We did a test around the block, and we think the picture will be much clearer. So we are indeed going to step outside and take you a little bit in the neighborhood and over towards Central Park.
Sherry's in the house.
Sherry, my sister Sherry's on. We're so happy that you are all here with us. Thank you for joining us, Sherry, and everyone. We still have a few minutes, right?
Yeah,
we signed on a few minutes early.
Marlene asked about the new hairdo. Here's the problem, Marlene, because I put on Facebook that it was tune in to see the new hairdo today.
Maybe it just doesn't show up.
Yeah, I think it's not showing on this new app that
it's the new app.
Yeah.
I used the teeniest, tiniest curlers.
Yeah, so it's
a simple wash and
really,
set.
really tight roll. Lois, yeah, so it's funny, we're not streaming through YouTube. We're streaming through something else that will hopefully get us a better signal outside. Tish says you can tell it's shorter. Because it is. It's a really tight curl.
Tiny curlers, tiny curlers.
Yeah, so this new streaming app will hopefully reduce the lag time in the chat and will allow us to go outside.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. This is going to be a test today, but we still have, what do we have? We still have a couple minutes before we begin here today.
Thanks, Amy. Said you love the tour of our sidewalk garden. We've gotten pummeled with rain here this past couple of days, so our tulips are pretty much gone.
Yeah.
Although we're going to go see some tulips today.
I
just gave it away.
You caught yourself.
I did.
We are going to go by a garden a little later once we get outside. We're so happy you're with us. This officially starts in about a minute and a half, but for anyone who is a Hago viewers, which I'm guessing is a lot of you, we usually sign on a few minutes early and say hello before we get going. This official at-home tour will
begin
promptly at 4:30.
Yeah, Patty says it's pouring in Toronto as well.
Oh boy.
All day today, all day yesterday. It's just been brutal.
Yeah,
but
just the right amount of bourbon in this.
It's gonna be a loopy tour. Do we sound okay, by the way? We're trying our Bluetooth microphones, so let us know if we sound all right, because we're giving that a whirl. Did we have a cannoli? No, Mike, we didn't have a cannoli today.
Not today.
We had some potato chips.
We did have some delicious potato chips.
We sound clear. Okay, good.
Oh, good.
Thanks, everybody.
Glad to know that. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Yeah, we're lots of new things. And ding, 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 ding. It's 4:30.
Yes, it is. It really is. Welcome, everybody. We're happy you're with us. If you're new to us, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Patrick, and we are A&P Adventures. We're glad you're with us.
Yeah, we're thrilled you're with us today. And for any of you who have followed us over from Hago, we're glad you're with us. And for anybody who might have stumbled upon us here on YouTube since our post-Hago days, we're glad you're with us too.
And if you don't know what Hago was, it was a virtual touring app and platform that a lot of people joined, and they just recently, in the last month, have shut their doors. And Aaron and I were, very sad. Aaron and I were tour guides for that platform, and so we have moved over to YouTube. So if you have found us here on YouTube and we're not a Hago viewer, that's what we're talking about when we mention Hago.
Thank you, Kathy. Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has very inexpensive flowers,
Yeah.
and they're great. It's 14 degrees Celsius. It's 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Excuse me, 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and we that will come into play when we go outside because we're gonna take this tour on the road.
Yeah.
We're gonna go outside in just a little bit, but we first are gonna start with talking about New York on a dime.
Yeah.
That's our plan for today. It's a little bit of a twofold. You know, we had planned to do this at home to talk about New York on a dime, and then in the process we discovered this new app, or we were introduced to this new app that is going to hopefully allow us to have a better signal outside. So we wanted to do our New York on a dime portion and also try to get a little bit outside. Shamika, you're going to New York next week.
Have
Yay.
a fantastic trip. I hope the weather's nice.
And I hope we give you some good tips
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Again, it is 14 degrees Celsius, 58 degrees Fahrenheit. It is Sunday, April 30th here in New York City.
4:30 p.m.
4:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew there was something I was forgetting. Is there anything else we're forgetting?
I don't think so. I'm sure there is, but we'll figure it out as we go along.
Yeah, that's our housekeeping for the day.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we are here today. We wanted to talk about, Aaron and I, we were thinking we should have every once in a while when we're at home, we should come up with just sort of subjects to talk about. And we were kind of racking our brains, and we settled on living and visiting cheaply in New York City, and tips and what we do and how we live cheaply. And we purposefully did not discuss with each other.
It's true.
What we each kept separate lists. What we wanted to chat about and how our personal tips, because we figured that would spark conversations between us and along with you all, and that would be more fun.
Yeah.
So New York, living on a dime.
Mimi, right out of the gate, where can you find housing on a dime?
That is a fantastic question, Mimi.
That wasn't in my list, but I think it's in yours.
Well, I mean, honestly, there are several different websites that you can, that I'm sure most of you know about, but just in case you don't, where you can sort of name your own price. You can put in what you can afford, the amount you can afford, like, I don't know, hotels.com does it, and Priceline does it. You can search around. So if you have a specific amount that you have set for what you want to spend on a nightly basis, there are websites where you can put that amount in and see what comes up. We can't guarantee it's not going to be the Ritz if you want to spend $50 a night. But there's there's affordable ways if you're willing to sort of like what's the word when you like give and take?
Bargain. Bargain with the website.
Yeah, if you're willing to to give up something like a luxury hotel, you can stay in a hostel, or you can stay places like that have different ways of, it's not just like your own personal space. You can share spaces, or an Airbnb, or sometimes those are cheaper.
Mimi says an apartment in terms of living. Well, the best thing for that actually, Mimi, is to check out New York City's affordable housing. They have an extensive affordable housing that you can look into. A
lot of the buildings in New York, even the newer buildings, will have an what they call 80-20 program, and it's where 20% of the apartments in any given building will be dedicated to a lower annual wage workers. So affordable housing for that 20% of the building, and that's a good way to get into, because I think it gives them a tax break to have that program be a part of their building. So that's always a good way to find an apartment to rent. A cheaper apartment.
NYC.gov is the place to check out check that out. Hi, Kate. Kate's saying hello. So that's good. One right out of the gate of how to stay, whether you're moving to New York or whether you're coming here for the night. I will also say, weirdly enough, sometimes last minute hotels are oftentimes cheaper.
Yeah.
I know it's not great for those of us who like to plan.
Yeah, exactly. I do like the idea of like a Priceline type thing where you can put in, I can spend this amount. This is what I can afford, and or what you're willing to spend, and then you see the options that come up. And if those options aren't good enough, then you can go, okay, so I'm going to need to budget a little more for my hotel, and then pull back on entertainment or something else that you're planning to spend money on. There's ways to sort of adjust your budget on a trip here to New York.
Lori is asking if there's any way on those ones that you're bidding on, if you know which hotel it is. Well, I don't think so, but here's what I do. It will usually tell you the amenities, and then you can usually narrow down, you can usually pull up the area that it indicates your hotel might be in, and then cross-reference the amenities and figure out usually between one or two hotels.
Yeah.
We usually are
Oh,
on it.
Sherlock Holmes over here, he can always figure out which hotel it is that they're offering,
Yeah.
on Priceline. But yes, if you're willing to do that type of work and you can really dig in and get some of the details, you can sort of figure out which hotel it is that's being offered.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the house trades as well. I forget that website too, but I know a lot of folks do that, which is kind of cool. A lot of folks have mentioned Airbnb as well. Airbnb is tricky because I'm pulling it up because New York, you couldn't put your stuff on Airbnb for a while, and I don't know if that's changed yet or not.
That may be changed, but if you can, whether it's New York or other places, you can use Airbnb. And the great thing about an Airbnb is that you can save money because if you have a kitchen, then you're not eating out all the time. You can go to groceries.
Yeah, it's back on. It's back on.
So you can Airbnb here in New York City, which is great, and that will help you out with your food budget while you're in town, which is a nice thing.
Yeah, that's a good tip too, Joan. Outer boroughs can be a bit less. So if you don't mind taking the subway, absolutely, or staying in Jersey, especially a lot of those hotels in Jersey have shuttles that'll bring you directly into the city. So you can save some money and just shuttle right into the city for the day. Another fun one is to check out Roosevelt Island. It may not be a ton cheaper, the Graduate Hotel over there, but you get to take the tram over to Manhattan, which would be quite fun.
Yeah.
Rhonda leads us into another good one. What about cheap food?
Well, Rhonda, thank you for that segue.
Thank you, Rhonda.
It's funny, when I first moved to New York City and I was trying to stay on a budget, which is tight. I know that's a tight budget in Manhattan. Now, if you're visiting, you're gonna have to spend more than $10 a day. But I will say, when I did that, I found some cheaper ways. Look, you know what? You can get a hot dog for anywhere from $3 to $5, and that's your lunch. You can get a slice of pizza for a few bucks, and that's a meal. So there are ways to eat cheaply. Oftentimes, hotels, if you're staying in a hotel here in the city, they will often offer a free breakfast. So yeah.
I was reading the chat and give a thumbs up because somebody said now's a good time to remind AMP to pin their buy me a coffee.
Oh my gosh, thank you for that. Appreciate it. So those are my two. Look, a slice of pizza to me is lunch, and you can get a slice of pizza for cheap.
Yeah.
There's the dollar slice. They're not. You have to search for it. You have to know where they are.
Yeah.
But the dollar slice is back in New York City, and search around for it. But oftentimes they will give you two cheese slices, and a soda for like $4
or $5. Yeah.
So
that to me, that's a deal.
Yeah.
I have a couple others that hopefully you didn't say. Well, you might have said while I was typing, but I apologize if I'm reiterating. Did you mention anything about corner bodegas or delis?
Oh no, I didn't. That's great.
A good old classic New York City deli. Go in and go to the sandwich counter and get yourself whatever fresh made sandwich is right there. It's probably going to cost you anywhere from $5 to $7, depending on what you want on the sandwich. But you're going to get a fresh made sandwich from a New York City deli or corner bodega. And then you get yourself a bag of chips and a drink and you're good to go.
Yeah.
You got a meal under $10 right there. But it's also a very New York meal too, because those delis and corner bodegas are classic. Were you going to say something?
Sorry, Marlene. I think you're mentioning you clicked on it. You must have clicked on our PayPal link. Yes, my name is Patrick, but my full name, my full legal name, is Robert Patrick. So I think that might be what you're referring to when you click on the PayPal. So you might see my real legal first name is Robert. So
There
the
you
more you know.
Shannon says you'd like to know about the pretzels. I personally think that the pretzels at the carts are fine. Any of our Philly friends on right now, I'd rather have a Philadelphia pretzel myself than a New York City pretzel.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The pretzels in New York, they're good.
They're fine.
They're
fine.
They tend
They're fine.
they tend
They're
to be
Too many.
a little. That was one too many.
One too far.
One too many. You lost it.
Yeah.
But the pretzels in New York, don't you find that they tend to be a little? They almost are like they have a burnt.
Yeah.
There's like a weird like they bake them too much.
long. You know why? Because they're fine.
Because they're fine.
They're just fine.
There you go.
Get a lot of mustard to dip it in.
Yeah.
I have one other food tip, which is to oftentimes look at the bar menu. Because, and this is also a good tip for getting into a restaurant that you're really interested in going to, but you can't get a reservation. Ask, can I sit at the bar? Because oftentimes the host or the hostess will forget to say that we have seats at the bar. And it's a good way to get into those hard to get restaurants, or even not hard to get to restaurants. Even if it's just a weekend and it's busy in New York and you can't get a seat, especially if there's only two of you, we sit at the bar all the time.
Yeah.
And the bar oftentimes has a bar menu that can be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
It may be,
snacky.
it'll be smaller.
Yeah.
But it might be a little bit cheaper. So that's my other food tip.
I will say also, if you are short funds, if you're a little short on money and
or if you're just short.
If you're cash poor, listen, here's a tip. When I first moved to New York City, if you have a pair of tap shoes and you can do a couple of time steps, I'm not kidding. I grabbed a pizza box out of the trash can, put it down on the corner of Times Square.
Ate the leftover pizza in the box first.
And I tap danced for about, 20 minutes. And I made about $15. So,
Yeah.
you can sing for your supper.
Oh, Sharon. Sharon also mentioned prefix dinners on Restaurant Row, and actually even beyond Restaurant Row. If you're coming to the theater, a lot of the restaurants in the Times Square area will have a prefix dinner before the show, sometimes even after, that includes an appetizer, a dinner, and an entree. Of them, one of my favorites is Becco on 46th Street.
Yeah.
Becco, Becco, which is, I think, an unlimited pasta. They have 3 or 4 pastas a day, and it's unlimited pasta.
Simon, it doesn't have to be tap dancing. Can you juggle? Are you good at telling a joke? Look, people will pay top dollar.
Hey, what's Mary short for?
I don't know. What is she short for?
I don't know. I guess she's got short legs.
Hello.
Maybe that'll get me a slice of pizza. I don't know. All right, so those are my ideas for food. I don't have anything else for food. Do you?
No, I think that is all my food options.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one, Antonia. We love Too Good to Go.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That is a great, Antonia. Okay, for the win, Antonia. Too Good to Go is an app on your phone that a lot of restaurants around town will, if they have extra food at the end of the day, rather than throwing it out, they'll put it on this app, Too Good to Go, and you can get it at a much cheaper rate than they sell it for during the day.
Yeah.
We've gotten gone to bakeries and gotten, or a couple of times we've gotten sandwiches,
pizza,
extra food.
Yeah.
That is a great app.
Some really great places too are on it. So are on that app as well. So if you're wanting croissants, you can find some really great stuff. Which honestly, if you're going to see a show at night, it's perfect because a lot of them have late night pickups. So it's kind of great. Oh, that's a good one. Good segue, Kay, into public transportation.
Yeah.
That lets me move to my getting around page.
Yes. Okay. So, and anyone that's wondering, public transportation. We are in sort of a transition period here in New York with public transportation. You can now, anybody that has a smartphone or chip reader on your credit card, you can get onto the subway and onto the buses with that chip reader. You just put that up next to the reader on the bus or the subway turnstile, and you can scan your way in. It is $2.75 per ride for the subway and for the bus.
And it takes you to all 5 boroughs.
Yeah, you can get on one line at the very tip of the Bronx and go all the way to the very bottom of Brooklyn to Coney Island for $2.75. That's a long way.
That's a deal.
Yeah.
And the great part about doing that scanning, A, you don't need a subway card. B, in 1 week time, starting on, I forget now if it's Sunday or Monday, the scans for the Omni.
Oh,
is it Sunday or Monday?
I want to say it starts Monday.
Okay.
For like commuters.
So we think it's Monday to Sunday, but the minute you hit 12 scans of your tap card, your rides become free after that for the remainder of the week. So that's great.
Yeah. So if you are in town for that week and you are doing lots of sightseeing, it might behoove you to use that app, use your phone or chip in your credit card to scan onto, because more than likely you're going to be riding the subway at least twice a day, if not 3 or 4 times, or the bus. So, you'll that $2.75 starts to come down per ride once you are on the subway more than 12 times.
Yeah. What's the best subway app for the phone? The MTA has
the New York the MTA
the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, but that you don't use that app to pay. That's your app for the map and for subway times.
For subway times, and if a subway is shut down, that'll be on that app too.
Yeah.
But to pay, you would just use your phone if you have that option, Apple Pay or other things like it, or the chip in your credit card.
Yeah. Now, if you don't have a chip-enabled device for right now, you can get a subway card. Coming up in the future, you're going to get what's called an Omni card, OMNY, which will be a chip-enabled device that you load money on. But the subway card you would need to get from the machine in the stations.
Do all 5 boroughs have the same vibe? No, they're all very different.
Yeah, different.
All very different.
Somebody else asked, I saw it pop up again, which is a bathroom question. How to go to the bathroom for cheap.
Yeah.
Bryant Park, Central Park they have free bathrooms, hotel lobbies.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Why is it a secret? You can. I can't remember what the website was, but there are. If you just Google public bathrooms in New York City while you're here, they pop up where the closest place near you to use the bathroom. So those are. I don't think it's just one site. There's lots of different sites that tell you where the closest one is to you.
Finding a public bathroom is actually a little bit easier than what it would be in a lot of other countries, I think. But a couple other getting around things I just want to touch on before we leave that topic, because I've been seeing some other good topics pop up, which is double-decker buses, the tour buses. We honestly, sometimes when we travel, we don't even care so much about what the tour guide may or may not be saying on the double-decker bus. It's just the double-decker bus sometimes has such inexpensive rates that it's an invaluable way to get around the city for a couple of days.
Yes.
And see everything.
That's a great tip, and especially if you're on a budget, then you get to see a lot of the sites for the price of the bus trip. Kathy asks, can you is the OmniPass transferable? I don't believe so, because then if that were the case, then families could share cards and not buy 2 cards. So I think if you bought a weekly pass, then I don't think you could. I mean, you could give that Omni card to someone else, I suppose, and they could use it. But I don't think you could transfer whatever you don't use to anyone else.
Yeah, Anna says double-decker, great tip. And the other thing about those double-deckers that you should look for is that sometimes the double-decker will include, like if you buy a 3-day double-decker pass, you also might get these, 2 or 3 museum passes included. And maybe those are the museums you want to go to. And maybe you don't care so much about the double-decker tour, but you care about the museums. Well, then you have transportation around the city. Now, sometimes it's slow because you're waiting for on and off. So sometimes it's slow. It just depends on what speed you want to be at. Do you have something?
Shamika asks, are the double-decker buses accessible? Shamika, I believe that they are. I don't know if
I'm not sure,
I,
to be
I
honest.
I don't know if every single bus in the I think they have some of the buses are accessible, but I think you might have to wait, like because they travel all day long, so you might have to wait for the specific bus that is accessible. But I do think, but you can check the Circle Line or whatever it is
Yeah,
the
the gray line.
the Gray Line.
Yeah,
You can
or
check their website to see if they have accessible buses. But I think that some of them are
Big
because I've
bus.
seen
That's the other one.
people getting on and off that
Yeah.
need accessibility.
Andrea's asking about the loop bus. Is that the downtown bus, Andrea? I I think that might be what that is, the red bus that goes around downtown, which I think is free. And I have never taken it, but it goes around to the downtown locations.
Yeah. Stephanie mentioned this also, Shamika, but just to say that the buses, the city buses, just getting around on a city bus is definitely accessible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all the city buses are accessible for even if you just have trouble walking, but are able to walk but can't do big steps.
Yeah.
The bus will come down so that you just have a small step. Or if you're if you need wheelchair accessibility, those are all the city buses are wheelchair accessible.
Andrea's mentioned Times Square. Sorry, Andrea, I don't know the loop bus, but there is a downtown bus that I'll try to look up. It's a red bus and it hits some specific sites that's free. Two more things about getting around the city, and then we'll move on to a different topic. Number one, New York is a very walkable city. It's pretty darn flat. Yeah. The sites are much closer than what you expect. So don't be afraid to just walk around as well, because it's very walkable. The other thing I just want to mention is Uber versus taxi.
Oh yeah.
We're not pros at that because we don't Uber much, nor do we taxi very much. What I will tell you is that we tend to find taxi rates are better than Uber rates, especially because Uber will surge price. For example, it's raining today, so Uber prices are probably going to go up, whereas taxi prices are regulated. So that's our thoughts on that. Which leads us to a next good one. Kay, theater tickets. When's the best time to get theater tickets?
Oh,
should we segue to that?
When's the best time?
In terms of, is it best days to get them? Sundays, matinees, I guess.
I see. Well, it varies, I guess. I think here's the thing about theater tickets. We're talking about being in New York and having a trip in New York on a dime for cheaply. So I would say whatever day you want to go see, if you want to see a Broadway show or even an off-Broadway show, you can go the day of to TKTS, which is a ticket booth in the center of Times Square, and they have a list of shows up for 50% off. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's like 20 to 50% off the shows. Most of them are 50% off, but and it's not all of the shows. It's not all Broadway shows, but it's whatever shows are available at discounted tickets that day. So for various reasons, producers, if they have extra seats that night, they'll toss them over to TKTS, and TKTS can sell them at a discounted rate. So I would say go to TKTS the day that you want to see a show, see what's up there, and choose from whatever is listed. You can also get off-Broadway show tickets too, to see something a little less more cheaply than a Broadway show ticket.
My other tips on that, two websites, playbill.com has discounts, and broadwaybox.com. Playbill.com and broadwaybox.com. Also, in conjunction with TKTS, TKTS is run by an organization, and we've talked about this on some of our previous tours. It's run by an organization known as TDF, Theater Development Fund. And if you work for a nonprofit, if you are a teacher, you can sign up for the Theater Development Fund. I think it's $25 or $30 a year.
Yeah. And
they offer theater ticket discounts here in the city. Now, even if you're coming for 1 week and you want to see like 2 shows, that $25 is worth it in terms of the discounts. Now, not every show's up there. It really varies on what's going to be available, but there will always be something that is available.
Kathleen mentioned standing room. Yes, some we actually just got standing room for Parade yesterday. So you can get a standing room ticket if the show is sold out. Oftentimes that they the theaters, the shows won't always sell standing room tickets unless the show is sold out. Sometimes they'll sell you a standing room ticket. And if you're able to stand for a whole show, then that's a cheaper way to see. I think we paid $40,
We
right?
paid 45.
45.
And then, hi, J. Dill. And then we scanned our ticket. The woman scanned our ticket and she said, you need to go to the box office. And I was so confused. I was like, I just bought these standing room tickets an hour ago. We went to the box office and he said, we have seats for you. We were fifth row center.
That never happens, by the way. That's not the norm. We just got lucky. I don't know what happened.
Total.
But anyway, but yes, you can stand here. And then somebody else mentioned, does TKTS have tickets for rehearsals? I'm not sure what that means. Not that I know of. I don't think TKTS would never sell tickets for a rehearsal. Sometimes people get invited to dress rehearsals, but
the final thing I will say, which is similar to standing room, is don't be afraid to, couple things. Don't be afraid to go to the box office at the theater and say, do you have any rush tickets for this evening? A lot of shows at the last minute, they would rather have butts in the seats paying some money than to have no butts in the seats. So they will, give you a ticket for $40, $50, $60. And also sometimes even beyond rush, I've even had it where they'll be like, how much are you looking to spend? And you can say $60. And they'll say, okay, I can do a $59 ticket in this location. So sometimes it helps to go to the box office.
That's a great tip, because oftentimes, the box office understands they want to sell the ticket. And if the seat's going to be empty, or they can have someone that's willing to spend $60, they'll sell you a $60 ticket. Yeah. So go to the box office and just see. What's the worst that could happen? They'll say no?
Yeah.
Okay, then I can't see this show tonight.
And all the theaters are right by each other. So yeah, Today Tix is good too. Sometimes Today Tix because they'll sell shows that can be sold out too. So sometimes it can be pricier as well. So you always have to check with Today Tix as well. But Anna, definitely check in on the rush tickets. Not every show has them, but quite a few do.
Yeah.
That's Broadway.
That's Broadway. Other entertainment in the other.
Oh yeah.
There are so many events happening. Check, New York City websites and see what's going on at the time that you're going to be here, especially over the summer. There are so many free concerts in Central Park or around town and free fun events. Coney Island is only a subway ride away. You can get there for $2.75, and if you're a beach person and you just want to be at the beach and just enjoy the sun and the sand, you can go to Coney Island for $2.75 and enjoy the day.
Yeah.
And maybe ride the Cyclone, the roller coaster, while you're there.
$10.
Yeah.
Try the Cyclone.
Yeah.
Did you mention museums?
I did not.
Oh, okay. So a lot of the museums in New York have free or discounted days or evenings as well. So make sure you look at any museums that you're interested in hitting before you come, because many of them will have different nights that are maybe sponsored by a corporation, like Target sometimes sponsors MoMA, so it has a free day. We just went Friday evening to the Intrepid for free. And not only was it free, but they had all sorts of events happening on the Intrepid, including a panel with 3 astronauts where I stood like a 12-year-old dumbfounded listening to them about floating in space. And it was free.
Yeah, once a month, one Friday per month, the Intrepid is free for the summer.
Yeah, for the summer. Yep.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
And that was really neat to hear some of the astronauts answering some of those questions. I just want to bring up that Mike said he got a $60 ticket, but it was for speeding.
Debbie, good question. You do not have to pay to go to the amusement park at Coney Island. You do have to pay to ride the rides, but you can walk through the amusement park. You can get yourself a funnel cake. You can get yourself some cotton candy, and you don't have to pay to go into the park, unlike Disney where you'd pay to get into the park. So that's a good thing to check out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I also wanted to mention City Pass for museums.
Oh, yeah.
If you're somebody who wants to hit up a bunch of museums, check out City Pass. We have no connection to City Pass, so it's not like we get a kickback for mentioning them. But I believe you get to pick between 5. I think you get 3 things certain amount of money, and a couple of them you get to pick what you want, including I think the Guggenheim, the American Museum of Natural History,
Yeah.
9/11 Museum.
Yeah, search around because most of the museums have some day during the month where, and it might be specific hours, but you know, if you're willing to, if you don't want to, if you want to go for free, then you know, I'd be willing to go for those during those hours.
Andrew says, unfortunately, you have to pay at Nathan's. It's true. You have to pay at
Yeah,
Nathan's.
you got to pay there.
But you get the classic hot dog
Yeah.
and their crinkle fries, which we stand by their crinkle fries.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, night at the museum. That's what we mean, American Museum of Natural History. You had a 3-day pass and definitely saved money and saw a lot. Yeah, Debbie. Yeah, it's oh, Debbie. Yay, who we missed when you were here. And the Met's on your bucket list. Yeah, absolutely. The Met has discounts for New Yorkers.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they ever go beyond that. There are probably times when they do, but
So just go with a New Yorker.
Yeah. Exactly.
Come and find a New Yorker and go to the Met.
Yeah.
They have like a pay what you wish day,
Yeah.
I think, on a month.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
have more. Do you have more?
Go for it.
Okay. I want to talk about souvenirs.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's saying is Top of the Rock worth it? Well, we'll do that first. The thing about, if you want to do an observation deck, we actually, Top of the Rock is one that we recommend.
Yeah.
Because you get to see the Empire State Building.
You get a great view of the Empire State Building. As far as this tour, like New York on a dime, I don't know that you'll find discounted tickets for Top of the Rock, but yes, it is worth it.
Yeah, but I would say Summit is the better one, which is a newer one, because then you get to see Chrysler Building and the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
But souvenirs, I want to mention how to get inexpensive souvenirs when you come to New York City. I have 2 things to mention. One is a store called Mure and Grand, M-U-R-E and Grand. Mure and Grand is one that I mentioned because it's not super inexpensive, but what they have in their shop is so unique. It doesn't feel like the normal souvenir, but is very inexpensive for what it is. For example, you can get like a hooded sweatshirt with the city of New York embroidered on it for $40, which for a sweatshirt that's embroidered for $40 is really inexpensive. So you get kind of cooler gifts there that are still relatively inexpensive, including a lot of jewelry for anybody who's a jewelry fan.
You bet, Rhonda. Also, wait, I missed something. Debbie, is it worth to pay the extra? This is a great question, Debbie.
Oh.
Is it worth to pay the extra money for the higher decks on the Empire State Building? I have an answer.
I don't. I think I know, but I'm not sure. I'll let you answer.
I mean, look, if it's your bucket list and you just have to go to the very top, then you should do it. I don't think you need to. I think there's an observation deck that it's what, maybe two flights higher to for that extra. You pay that extra just to go. So I would say, in keeping with the theme of this tour, save your money and just go to that
save your dough.
Yeah, almost to the top level, and you'll get the same view. The higher deck, I think, is much more enclosed too, as I recall.
I can't remember.
I think it is, and it's a little claustrophobic, and there's a more open deck on that lower section. So that's a great question, Debbie.
Yeah, agreed, Patty. You pay extra for your bucket list items. Like save your money elsewhere and spend the money where this is very important to me. Absolutely. My other souvenir tip: brace yourself. I think this is a really good one.
I'm listening.
And if you take nothing else from today's New York on a Dime, get ready for this one. Walgreens and CVS. That's right, the drugstores, the pharmacies, Walgreens and CVS, specifically in the touristy areas, have little sections with souvenirs, and they're half the price of a lot of the souvenir stands and a lot of the shops in Times Square and those areas. So that is like one of my big tips, is to check out those. And some have really big sections of souvenirs with really interesting stuff as well. Yeah,
you'll find the same things in those drugstores that is at a lot of the souvenir shops, and for cheaper.
Yeah.
So that's a great tip.
I only have one more little section to talk about. Do you have more?
I'm done.
Okay, my last one is getting to and from the airport because
That's a good one. We
yeah.
both wrote separate lists.
Yeah, we didn't talk about what we were going to talk about, but I think my friend Jenny was on. I don't know if she's still on, but she did a terrific, incredible video for YouTube that we shared on our Facebook page, by the way. That's about using the bus to get from Manhattan to LaGuardia. Yeah, Jenny's still on. Which I will say, somebody commented when we posted, they're like, yeah, but if you have a big bag, but it's true. If you have a big bag, it's not as easy, but it's still manageable. We've done it before with our big bags. But you can take a bus from LaGuardia. You can also take a subway from JFK, the subway for $2.75. It will take you a long time, but it's $2.75 from JFK. The other JFK trick is the AirTran to the Long Island Railroad right into Grand Central. I think that will cost you a total of $13. Now, at some point, you have to figure out if there are 4 of you traveling, then as a taxi may be worth it because if you're each paying $13, then maybe it's just worth it to take the taxi, which can be what, upwards of $70 or so. If you're going into Newark, Coach USA has decent bus prices. I think it's $17 each way for the bus. Yeah. And it takes you right to Port Authority, and I think they have one to Grand Central too. I think they do.
Antia, we did put that video is on.
It's on our Facebook page.
Yeah, it's on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And also, Laurie asked, is there a way to go up to the Empire State Building without waiting in the line? I think they do have like a VIP pass you can purchase that where you don't have to wait in the line. That'll cost you extra. Yeah. But if that is a priority, then that's where you should spend your money if that's something you need. Because some people can't stand for that long, which I get.
Yeah, Debbie mentioned exactly what I was thinking. I think they recently switched to timed tickets.
Oh,
I think they learned from Top of the Rock, because what Top of the Rock did well was they had timed tickets. So yeah, you can now book a time for the Empire State Building, which is great. Auntie is asking about that video. Jenny's watching. Maybe Jenny, maybe you could post the link to your video in the chat that shows how to, because it's really great. She literally walks from her hotel that gets you to the airport for $2.75, which is pretty cool.
It'll take you some time, but if you're on a budget, but you have time, then save your money and just spend $2.75 and read a nice book on your way to the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the plan was to head outside. How do you feel?
I feel good about it. Just know we're gonna take this tour. We're taking this tour on the road.
Yeah.
And it is raining.
It's pouring.
It's pretty wet out there, so we're gonna take our umbrellas. But you're gonna come with us.
Oh, somebody said the link for Buy Me a Coffee isn't working. I'll put it in again, and we'll see. Hopefully, buymeacoffee.com/AP. I might have typed it wrong because I was doing it quickly.
Okay.
Hopefully that worked. We'll see. You can always cut and paste if it doesn't.
Gonna put my traveling hat on.
Yeah, Moffrey, what a perfect name for this tour. The train still goes to JFK. Takes a long time, $2.75. Oh, Kathy's asking for the PayPal link. I'll put that in too. Yeah, I should have done that. PayPal.me/AP adventures. Okay, there it comes. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're gonna head outside, and we're gonna take you.
You guys are coming with us
to a different part of the Upper West Side. I will walk behind us. I've got umbrellas for us.
Do you have keys?
I have keys.
Okay.
I have keys, please.
All right. We're going. We're doing this.
I think I lied to you about keys. No, I have keys.
I have keys. Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hello. Our neighbors.
Thank you. Just neighbors on our tour. Do you want an umbrella?
Oh yeah, I will take one.
Okay, here you go. It is pouring down rain in New York.
It's raining, it's pouring.
So this
life is boring, need a tear.
This portion of our tour is a little bit of an experiment. Thank you all for joining us because we're trying a new streaming device.
We have to turn the. Can you turn the camera around?
Oh yes, I can. A new streaming device that will hopefully allow be outside and have not as blurry of a picture as we had last week with when a lot of you were with us. So keep us posted on how it is. Please be our eyeballs and our ears
Yeah.
as we make our way.
We did this. We tried this the last time that we did a YouTube live stream, and the picture was very blurry. So we're hoping. Oh, good. We're so glad to hear that. Thanks, Jennifer, for that info.
All right, so we're on the Upper West Side for those that don't know, and the Upper West Side we're basically in between Central Park and Riverside Park, or the Hudson River. We are currently on Amsterdam, in case you were wondering. We're taking you to a little hidden gem on the Upper West Side because sort of a team with a theme. New York on a dime, if you want to enjoy, even though Central Park is free, but if you want to enjoy a quiet little respite, we'll show you a little hidden gem up here that is free to visit. But the Upper West Side is also bordered on the south by roughly 59th Street, Columbus Circle, Lincoln Center, that area, and then 110th Street up north. Look at this puddle. It's a lake.
Oh my gosh.
We brought you to the Amsterdam Lake, everybody.
Yeah. The Upper West Side Lake view.
Yeah, we didn't know we had a water view from our apartment. Surprise! Now, primarily this area is a residential area, though you will see some businesses up here as well. The whole Upper West Side really kind of developed with the beginning of the subway around the turn of the century. And that's when we started to see a lot of kind of a luxury apartment buildings start to pop up as well. Many of the names you've heard of: the Dakota, the San Remo, the Apthorpe, the Belnord. The Belnord, by the way, is the facade for Only Murders in the Building. That is what it's called, right? All of a sudden it sounded weird as I was saying it. We watch it and it felt like I felt like I was saying the wrong thing. But once the subway came in, then those luxury buildings started to pop up because it made this area much more accessible, basically. Prior to that, this area would have been a lot of farms, country estates. We would have seen some villages here. The Harsonville Village and Bloomingdale would have been in this area, little villages up here. Prior to all of that, of course, the Lenape tribe, the Mannahatta, the indigenous people would have been here as well. This would have been their land. But the subway kind of brought new folks, and you'll sort of see West End Avenue, which is a couple blocks to our right, kind of has quiet residences, and this would have been how it was when it popped up, but oddly enough, it remains sort of the same today. The West End Avenue to our right kind of has mainly quieter residences. Columbus Avenue to our left would have brought on some businesses. Then we would see Amsterdam Avenue would have had some more apartments, but a little less inexpensive apartments on Amsterdam.
While we're passing this nail salon, keeping with the theme of New York on a dime, strangely, some of you may or may not know this. Strangely, in New York, there are a couple of things that are cheaper than other places around the country. One is you can get a manicure and a pedicure for cheaper than most places around, and flowers are generally a little cheaper.
True that.
So
Flowers.
that is I don't know why that is, but there are nail salons all over Manhattan, and you can get a manicure and a pedicure for a little cheaper than most places.
And a massage too.
Yeah, and they have little chair massages. You can get a massage for pretty cheap.
Yeah. So something to keep in mind. Somebody said, please share the app you're using with other Hago guides because it's clear. Well, that is good to know.
Yeah, that is good to know. Well, we got it from a Hago guide, Alex N. In the UK. Alex in the UK told us about this streaming app. So yeah.
So we're making our way to 89th and Amsterdam, and then we're going to turn left and we're going to walk along 89th, and we want to show off a couple of buildings before we go to our hidden gem. And one of them we want to show off for anybody who's been a loyal viewer of ours and knows that we've talked about how there used to be a lot more horseback riding in Central Park, and we talked about a riding school that was on the Upper West Side. Well, we want to show you where that school is. Patrick, should we cross or stay on this side?
Let's cross. Well, actually, the good thing, we can walk in the street until traffic comes.
Until a car comes.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to show off the Claremont Riding Academy. You'll see it starting to come into view on the left. It was built as stables in 1892. It was designed by Frank A. Rook. It's in the Romanesque Revival style. And that is signified by kind of those arched doorways and windows, lots of symmetry. And it was originally stables. Here comes a car.
Yeah.
We can sneak away. Originally, it was stables, and then it became a riding academy in 1927. And in large part because of its proximity to Central Park and the bridle path that's in Central Park. So you would meet here, have some instructions, and then the horses would, you would take your horses right into Central Park in the same direction that we're walking right now. In about a block and a half, you're right into the heart of Central Park, essentially.
I love it. Used to be so cool to walk by the stables when this was a riding school, because the doors would be swung wide open and you could see kids taking their riding lessons, so you get to see horses. It was really cool.
And right next to it is another stable, which is now the Ballet Hispanico. And the Ballet Hispanico was founded in 1970 by Tina Ramirez, and it has been here for a couple decades now, but it is the premier Latin dance organization, not only in New York, but in the nation. And it's interesting to note, by the way, that, you know, sorry, we're just watching cars, but there would have been 800 commercial stables around New York City at the peak time of horse and carriages. And these are kind of some of the only remaining ones that we have in New York. So it's kind of cool to see those. Again, we're on 89th Street between Amsterdam and Columbus.
Yeah, Cool Ant asked if that was a horseshoe over the door. Yes, indeed. Good eye. Although it looked like the horseshoe was facing down. Aren't you supposed to put horseshoes up?
I think so. Like U-shaped.
Yeah, but it looked like it was
way.
like etched into the stone, the masonry work. So,
all right, so we're gonna head into the West Side Community Garden, and we'll take our time walking through here because the tulips are in bloom. Some of them are gonna look a little raggedy today because the rain is coming in hard and we're near the end of tulip time, but some of them are still gorgeous. So we're just gonna walk around, take our time. We basically have the garden to ourselves because it is pouring down rain, but this little garden was founded in 1976. Originally, this was a vacant lot. It was strewn with trash. And similar to, if any of you have been with us down to the South Street Seaport, how they took over that community garden, some of the residents, they did a similar thing here. The residents took over the lot and fixed it up, and they ultimately got funding to buy the lot from the city. And they continue, it's now a nonprofit organization. And so they've continued to run this through funds. That's the thunder rolling, by the way. I don't know if you hear that. But it's community driven. This little garden that we're in right now, it's pretty incredible.
they have little seating areas over in the corners too, which is really nice. Of course, they're soaking wet right now.
Woo!
But
thunder.
I know, it's like thunder.
It is free and open to the public every single day. It's fully funded by grants, donations. It's fully run by volunteers. They have an extensive volunteering list. And they even have plots, which we'll show you in just a little bit as we make our way through, but you can pay to have a vegetable plot. We'll talk some more about that as we make our way up there. But this little center area that you're seeing here, they'll have Shakespearean performances throughout the summer on days that are, well, not so rainy.
That are drier than this.
Yeah, to be or not to be wet.
Yeah.
That is the question. To be wet is the answer today.
Yeah.
But they'll have Shakespearean performances. They also do a 4th of July barbecue that's open to the community. It's a potluck. You bring your covered dish. It's a pretty cool event. Maybe a bag of chips. And it's also, they have this Tulip Festival. The Tulip Festival was last weekend or the weekend before, I believe, where they'll have folks stationed all throughout the garden to talk about the various tulips. Speaking of the various tulips, there are 13,000 bulbs of tulips here in this little tiny space, which is about 30,000 square feet, this little garden that we're in right now. 5,000 people visit this little tiny garden a year. Little hidden gem up here.
I feel like this hard rain is going to kind of be the end of the tulips.
I know.
You can see that some of the leaves are starting to
But then we'll get some new stuff coming in. The name
Yeah.
of the garden is the West Side Community Garden. Yeah, the West Side Community Garden. And they also do little concerts here. In addition to the Shakespearean performances, they have an arts and craft festival. And as we make our way up this little path, you'll start to see on the left the vegetable plots. I see one lone gardener out gardening his or her little plot there in the distance. Now, these I think are $30 for your little plot for the year, but there's a 3 year waiting list for the vegetable plots. 3 year waiting list,
We
and in
would
order to
love to
get
have a
a
plot.
vegetable plot, you have to have logged in. I forget how many hours. Ooh, there's the thunder. Oh yeah, Amy says thank you for taking us here on a cozy Sunday. Yeah, of course. Yeah. But they do also have a communal herb bed in there, which I think is pretty cool. They also have school plots for the kids in the area, so they can, uh, plant their own vegetables. They have a little tool shed. There's even they even have access to the. Ooh, look at these hydrangeas coming in.
Hi.
Hydrangea, right? That's a hydrangea. I
I
think
think
so.
so.
But they have access to the greenhouse up at St. John the Divine, and so they can get seedlings started up there at the greenhouse, which is pretty cool. Somebody asking about wedding ceremonies. No, they don't allow for private events or corporate events of any kind in the garden. And I have a hunch that that is because of the funding involved, that it's got to be open and available to the community at all times, so they won't shut down for anything. So yeah, no private events in the garden at all.
Thanks, Andrew. You know, it's funny. We looked at the weather when we woke up today, and we saw that it just got worse and worse, and the percentage just kept getting higher and higher until it said at 5 p.m. 100% chance rain. So I don't think it matters where we are standing in New York City right now. We were going to get wet no matter where we were.
Yeah. They do also, by the way, have bird talks in there. Oh, look, here's music in the garden. I see. So they're gonna have. They're saying May 21st to June 18th. So we still have some time before the music starts here. But it's a pretty incredible little garden that they have right here. Um, uh, would love to have a portable. Oh, I see. Yeah, garden. Yeah, absolutely. Um, all right, so we're gonna walk along 89th Street, and we thought we'd just make our way to towards Central Park and check out some of the brownstones on our way over there.
Yeah, we'll end over at Central Park, but figured we'd make our way over there, so we had a little bit of outdoor time, and happy to know that thank you to everyone who's been saying the picture's clear, because that feels like a win to us.
Yes,
After our last venture out trying to live stream on YouTube.
If you knew how many tests
Oh
and
my goodness.
experiments we've done,
Yeah.
this is a good win. So we're happy about that.
Thanks, Mary. Yeah, we're technically this area is the Upper West Side, and we are walking east now on 89th Street towards Central Park.
So
And yeah, this is a neat area. The Upper West Side, there's still lots of like mom and pop stores around up here. You know, you do see a lot of Starbucks and the big chains that have come in, and more of them. But you know, there's still little pockets of the old New York still on the Upper West Side, which I love.
we're about to cross Columbus, and we'll walk along Columbus, which will take us to Central Park West, and then we're right there at Central Park.
We're going to see some really cool classic brownstones on this next block. And this is a classic New York street.
Sorry,
89.
I'm tripping on you.
Oh no, you're fine.
I just realized. Yeah, and we'll talk about the brownstones as we make our way over. Wow, look at that rain coming down.
It is coming
It is
down.
like, oh, there's
It's like
even
thunder.
bam, lightning. Maybe we'll go under the scaffolding
Oh, the
a
scaffolding.
little bit.
Look, here's the thing. Well, some of these big drops you're seeing are coming off of my my umbrella. But
Oh, there we go. A little reprieve.
you know, here's the thing about scaffolding in New York. We complain about scaffolding all the time, but you know, in weather like this, you can use it to your advantage.
You win.
Yeah.
or when it snows, by all means. But as we start to kind of clear the scaffolding, we get a great shot of these brownstones on the right. So actually, brownstone's only a small part of the townhouse is really, or the row house is really actual brownstone. So actually, a townhouse would be built with brick, and then they would add the veneer of the brownstone, which hopefully is showing up amidst the storm. Is it showing up okay, Patrick?
It is.
Because we're using new microphones that are Bluetooth, I'm walking a little bit separately from Patrick, so I don't always see the picture or the chat as well. But the actual material of a brownstone is kind of it's rather soft. So it's not the best building material per se because it is a little too soft and unreliable. It can crack, it can crumble, sort of like a sandstone. And so that's why they kind of only use it as the veneer. But because it is so soft, you can shape it and get those incredible fancy details that would make anybody who was building a brownstone up here feel like they were getting something fancy, like the luxury buildings like the Dakota or the Apthorpe, but they're not spending quite as much money as they would be. Like, look at this one with the bay window right next to the white one. The detail on that, which hopefully is showing up even in the rain.
I think it is. We'll just get to the end of the block and then we'll duck under cover and finish up. But we just love these brownstones. I also wanted to point out, oftentimes you see these classic brownstone steps on a lot of these old brownstones, and then every once in a while you'll see a brownstone that does not have the steps. Well, almost guaranteed, they did have the steps at some point, and a good way of telling.
Oh, there's one, right there, right?
Yeah, or right here.
Oh yeah.
Like you can see this brownstone right here. The steps are gone, but you know that the steps were here because you see that one window on the right is a little bit larger than the two on the left. So, they did used to have the steps here. So more than likely, they got rid of those steps and then made that brownstone apartments. But let's go to the end of the block, and then we'll call this done.
A day.
Oh my God!
My pants from basically my thighs down are essentially just drenched at this point.
Oh my gosh, mine too.
But listen, I want to chat as we make our way to the end of the block. I want to chat about a couple of things to look towards. If you haven't been on our YouTube page at all today yet, we started a new series. Entrance applause for our new series. We would applaud, but our hands are busy holding umbrellas and cameras and such. But we're doing now a Subway series, which for those of you that were with us at Hago, it's something we always wanted to do at Hago, and we just couldn't quite figure it out. We did Subway art, and we would do different versions of that. But this way, we're going to be doing every single Sunday. We'll pick a different Subway station, and we'll show off the art in that Subway station. That will be a pre-recorded tour that'll hit YouTube at noon every single Sunday. So the first one is up today. It might look familiar to some of you because it's the William Wegman Weimaraner dogs.
Do you have a free hand? You want to put the camera back on us?
Yes, I do. But it does have different... Oh, I clicked it and it went away, didn't it? I gotta click it harder. There we go. We did get both the uptown, and the downtown side. Now I can see the chat. There are worse ways to wet your pants, Tony. It's true. Very true. I know. So check that out. Our new Subway series. We've already filmed 2 more, and we already know what next week's is going to be. Next week's is going to be a brand new one that we've never shown on our Hago tours before.
That's right.
So look for that next week. We also have this Wednesday a brand new pre-recorded tour popping up. That is another place we've never taken our Hago folks to because of signal reasons. So that's going to be on Wednesday. We filmed it on a much more beautiful day than today.
Yeah. Jan mentioned house swapping. That is a thing that I feel like people do. There are websites for that. Yeah, I don't know. I guess that is possible. If you're really looking to not spend any money on housing, that's that's an option.
A couple people have said you don't see the links for PayPal or Buy Me a Coffee. If you are tech savvy, the QR codes are there at the bottom of the screen, and so you can hold your camera up to that and it should pop up as a link. Fingers crossed. That's our first time ever doing it, so it may or may not work. I'm not sure, but it's Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal.
And PayPal,
right
yeah.
there. What was the restaurant, Sarah asks? I'm not sure if that's to us or not. Maybe Becco? We were mentioning Becco earlier. That could be it. Thanks so much, Kathy. It works, says Learn How to Fall. Yay!
Oh,
well,
good.
we're learning how to fail here, and that was not a failure, so that's good. Mary says, do you want us to know what Wednesday's topic will be? Well, that's a good question. Should we spill the beans? Or give some hints?
Yeah, we can give a hint.
Okay, so I will tell you that it's a park in Queens that hosted a couple of major New York City events. Is that a good?
Yeah, that's a good hint.
Is that a good
Yeah.
hint? How about that? So that'll be quite fun. It even works from taking a picture. Okay, good. Thanks for saying that. Yay, happy to see all that. Keep it a surprise. So there you go. You get a hint, and some people say a surprise. So you get the best of both worlds. So that'll be on Wednesday. And then Monday and Friday, we have a couple Hago reruns popping up. So if you just maybe missed that particular Hago tour, you can catch it again. Or you just want to relive a particular Hago tour, you can catch it again. And then our shorts are on Tuesday and Thursday. And we don't mean pants, short pants.
We don't mean short pants.
We mean YouTube shorts.
Short videos.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'll have another live trip up next weekend, either on Saturday or Sunday. Since we now know Streamlabs is working for us, we're not sure where it's going to be yet. We'll have that discussion probably on our walk home in the rain.
Thanks, William. Yes, for anybody that the QR code doesn't work for PayPal, the PayPal link is in the tour description on YouTube of this tour today. So you can get that PayPal link from there. And it's all over. I think it's in the description of the links of all of our tours. So you can find that PayPal link by searching around.
Yeah. And somebody said, how are we doing on watch hours? Are we close to 4,000? I think we're not, no, but we're maybe halfway there.
Yeah, I think we're a little over halfway there.
By all means, and if you don't know what that means, that's totally fine. Yeah. Basically, once we hit 4,000 hours, then we can make some revenue from YouTube, which is a lovely thing. But we're not there.
I don't think it's a windfall.
I think
it's a little bit of...
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But by all means, certainly play the videos. It does help us in terms of people finding
that
us,
certainly helps.
Nice.
Yeah, if you're able to play the videos, even while you're doing the dishes, that is definitely helpful. Also, if you don't already subscribe to to us, give us a subscribe and a like to this video and our other videos, and by all means, write a comment about what was your favorite part of this specific tour. Yeah. Sorry, I put the wrong teeth in today. I'm having trouble talking.
Yeah. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for your wonderful feedback, which was positive today. We're so relieved that this streaming app is working, so we can sort of start to get back to our touring ways, although we'll still do some at-home discussions as well. I don't think I have too much else to say. Do you?
Let's go. Let's leave them with a shot. Even though it's rainy, it's a beautiful green day in Central Park. So, oops, can you get that?
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We're still working on the app. Here we go. Camera. There we go.
So you can see that Central Park, even though it's rainy, everything is greening up so nicely. We're right at the edge of Central Park, and on a nicer day, we will take a stroll through Central Park when it's nice and sunny and you can get lots of good screen captures.
I'm going to walk in front of the camera so you can see what my pants look like.
Ah! Oh my gosh.
Rain.
Oh my gosh. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all soon. Bye-bye now.